Hello everyone, I'm Den Haring. Welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Teckel Honker Frog. This is a newer frog that Teckel has put out. Teckel has reached fame by another frog that they put out that you might be aware of called the Teckel Honker Frog. The Honker Frog was meant to be a weedless version of a whopper plopper. It has a tail that would spin around and you were able to throw this around in some of the weeds and slop. The Honker Frog catches fish. I think it's a good bait, but it's not one of my favorites. I think it falls a little short because when you can't really fish it in heavy slop and get that whopper plopper type action. It just won't work that way. It has to be in more open water or sparse weeds. But they hit the nail on the head with this new Honker Frog. This bait I really like a lot. You can see it's got a rather small profile, but it more than makes up for that profile with the noise and vibration that it makes. The unique thing about this frog is that it's got these feet. They look like webbed feet. They're really just spinners on real high quality ball bearings, and you can see they spin around. So when you're moving this bait, both of these things are spinning and they're clacking into each other, and it just makes a lot of vibration and even more noise. I mean, you can hear this thing at the very end of your cast making noises as these blades, I don't know if you can hear that, doesn't do us justice. When it's in the water and those blades are clicking and clacking, it really makes a big difference. Makes a lot of noise. So I really think this is going to be a good frog. It's well made, it's very soft. I like how the hooks are right up against the sides of the bait. You see that? That way it's very snagless. It's very difficult to get this thing snagged. It'll fish through heavy slop. You can go right over the top of those algae mats. You can go right through lily pads very well. You might notice that the nose is pointed downward. That's because the frog sits with an attitude like this. So not only can you reel this in straight along and get the tail action, but you could also use your rod action to get this thing to pop just like a regular frog that you'd fish in weedy situations. So this thing really has a lot of the best qualities of two different types of baits. It's what I call a hybrid type bait. You've heard me talk about hybrids if you've watched my other videos. It just means that it actually reaches across more than one genre of a fishing lure type. And this one does it in spades. So what fishing lure types does this thing reach across or meet? Two different ones. A toad, a topwater toad, which is basically a soft plastic toad type lure. It's meant to be retrieved on the top with a constant action, and the tails of that toad will flicker and make a lot of commotion on the top, almost like a buzz bait. It's really meant to be moving. You can kill a toad, but then it'll just slowly sink. The other bait is the standard frog, which usually has silicone rubber legs coming out the back. It's meant to be thrown out in more heavy cover. You could fish it in open water, but it's meant to stop and go. You move this thing along and then you stop it, you pause it. You give the fish time to hone in on it and grab the bait. The nice thing that makes this Teckel Honker Frog a hybrid, a great hybrid in my mind, is that you can fish it just like a toad. You can throw it out there and move it along in open water, and these legs kick and make up a good fuss, make good commotion on the surface, and they also clang together, which makes a lot of noise. But you could also throw this in the heaviest of slop, and it performs very well there too. And even as you're moving it across the top of the slop, these legs are kicking and banging into each other and making noise. So it's truly a great hybrid bait. I have I really like this bait a lot. You can probably tell by how I'm talking about it. I haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to test it yet. In fact, I was going to test it. We went fishing, my son and I, on Saturday this past week. We were actually looking to test out some dragonfly lures that we made, but the conditions were not right for it. It was very windy. It wasn't calm. You need that calm, sunny day for those dragonflies to be up and about. And quite honestly, it was not a good topwater day on Saturday because we had something like 4 or 5 days of really hot, humid weather. It's humid again now, with a lot of storms. Now, I'm sure if you were out on those days, you could have had a great buzzbait bite because of that humidity and that steady weather. But Saturday was the opposite. We had high bluebird skies, all those storms had cleared out, no humidity left in the air, and there just wasn't much happening on topwater. We had to resort to square bill crankbaits and other techniques to catch those bass. But Sunday came around, and my son and I were still up at Possum Lodge, and we decided to go out in the middle of the afternoon. We went out to a lake in the Poconos around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We only fished till 4:30 at the latest. We fished about an hour, and that's all we had to fish before we had to get him back, because he had to go back down to college. So we found a lake that had a lot of lily pads. It was the second day that the weather was starting to calm back down again, and we were able to catch some fish on this honker frog. I caught a bass around 13 inches, and I got one that probably close to 4 pounds, and we had a couple other blow-ups on the frog. So in those kind of conditions, which were less than optimum, they were still chasing this thing. So I'm looking forward to fishing this more. I hope to make a video of me fishing the frog and talking about how to fish it, where to fish it, why, and all the details of this very soon. That's just a matter of whether the weather will cooperate or not, and me having the time, getting out there and during the right time and making the video. But a great frog. The price point on this, it may be a little steep for some folks. I think it's something like $13 or $14, but for me it's worth it. And they have some really good colors. This actually is a color that I like. It matches the pads on the top. It has a white belly, but they have some other colors that look like bluegills and some other good colors. So I'm looking forward to buying more now that I have a lot of confidence in the bait. Can't wait to get out there with this thing and fish it some more. Well, I hope you found that video helpful and maybe enlightening on this frog. Go out there and try one and see if you like it. Remember, I'm not sponsored by anybody currently, and that's how I want it right now, so that when I give you a review of a lure, it's my honest opinion about the lure. I don't have any, there's nobody backing me or trying to have me, I'm not sponsored by anybody. So it's an honest opinion. I think this lure is going to be good. I like the lure. I rate it very highly, and I recommend you try it. Well, that's it for today. Remember, if you like the video, hit that like button. That helps me a lot. And if you've been watching my videos and you haven't yet subscribed, it's time. Subscribe to my channel. You won't be disappointed. We're all about the art and science of bass fishing. It's a lot of great information. It'll make you a better fisherman. When you subscribe, hit that bell. That'll give you a notification for when the next video is coming out. We've got a lot of good stuff coming. Can't wait to get back out on the water myself. As always, may God bless your fishing endeavors, and I hope to see you out there.